മച്ചാൻ കുക്കിംഗ് ചാറ്റ്സ് ഇന്ന് ബിനുക്കുര്യനാണ്. ഇന്ന് ഞാനൊരു മധുര ഡിഷുമായിട്ട് വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. ആക്ച്വലി ദിവാലിക്ക് വരേണ്ട ഒരു ഡിഷാണ്. ദിവാലി നമ്മളൊരു നല്ലൊരു എപ്പിസോഡ് നിങ്ങളെ കാണിച്ചായിരുന്നു. ഇന്ന് എൻ്റെ ഒരു ഫ്രണ്ട് എനിക്കൊരു ദിവാലി ഗ്രീറ്റിങ്സ് തന്നാണ്. നല്ലൊരു ഒന്നാം തരം ഖീർ, പഞ്ചാബിലൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നൊരു ഖീറാണ് ഇന്ന് ഡിഷ് തന്നയച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഞാൻ ആ ഡിഷ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടി സമർപ്പിക്കുന്നു. ദീപാവലി എല്ലാവർക്കും നല്ലൊരു ആയിട്ട് വരട്ടെ എന്ന് ഞാൻ ആശംസിക്കുന്നു ഒന്നും കൂടെ. So watch, subscribe and like a dish from Punjab. Thanks Shipra for joining with me on this show. Look forward for many authentic dish from Punjab or North India. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Hello all, as I told you that we would be preparing Malaidaar Kheer in the Punjabi style. So I just want to showcase the most important ingredients. Of course, the first one is the Malaidaar milk, which is basically the full cream milk. Today we are going to use 2.5 liters of milk. And the next most important ingredient is the rice. So as you can see, the rice which I am using here, it's basically basmati rice. The flakes should be long. And how much I am using for this 2.5 liters of milk, for this particular bowl size, it's half this bowl. So to give you an idea, it's basically the fist size. That's the amount of rice that we use. Similarly, the fist size, the sugar, that is the amount of the sugar. And then I am using dry fruits. So I've got almonds, raisins and cashew nuts with me. If you want, you can add pistachios also to this. For garnishing and extra flavor, we will use saffron strands or kesar. So I'll be using only 4 or 5 strands. And then of course you can also use cardamom, which is elaichi. So for this particular preparation, I would be using 3 to 4 elaichis, and I would be basically grounding them into fine powder. So let's get set going with the task of the preparation of Malaidaar Kheer. Okay, so we are starting the process. So in this process, as you can see that I have soaked the rice. So this rice needs to be washed and soaked for at least 1 hour. And now we are going to start the process. So we are going to transfer this rice to this particular heavy bottomed kadai. So this is an aluminium kadai. I usually prefer a cast iron kadai, but I do not have a kadai which is going to take care of this much amount of kheer, where I am using 2.5 liters of milk. And another alternate is this, that with this particular rice, with the soaked rice, you could parboil it. You could give 1 whistle in your cooker and then you could start the process. So we are going to start the process and just going to watch it. In the meantime, once you put the rice and the milk with it, you can chop your almonds, you can chop your cashew nuts, and you should also soak the saffron strands. So I'm going to soak few saffron strands in hot water. So I'm going to soak them in hot water and I'm going to keep this aside for some time. And by soaking in the hot water, we'll get the maximum flavor. In the meantime, when this happens, we can also take few cardamom, that is elaichi, and we can ground it. And in this particular case, I'm going to take 4 of them. So 4 of them would suffice, and we're going to ground them to nice powder. This is what we are going to do. So we are starting the process. So this is the rice, which can be parboiled also, but it needs to be soaked for at least 1 hour. And as I told you earlier that I have used basmati rice and I am using this heavy based pan or kadai. So I've put the rice here, and the rice that we took was basically the size of my fist, and I will show you the amount also. And now we are going to add the milk which is this full cream milk. So we are going to add a little bit amount of milk and just leave it like this. That's all. I'm just going to wait for this milk to boil. So once the milk starts boiling, the process is very simple now. We are going to go on adding the milk from this particular container. And relentlessly, you have to move this entire kheer, which is in the process of making, because the milk will start sticking to the edges. So you have to make sure that it doesn't get burnt. So it's usually advisable to do this over medium flame, not too very high, and of course not too low. It's at a medium flame. So now we'll just leave it because this is going to take time, and next time we're going to add more milk. So now you can see that it has started boiling, and if you would notice, it has also started sticking on the inner sides of the kadai. So this is an important process, that you go on mixing it, every 15-20 seconds, every 30 seconds. So this is a very tireless process, but then that is how we make Malaidaar kheer. So you see, this is basically, it's swelling. The rice has started swelling in the milk. Now we can add more milk. So this is the process which we will go on doing now, performing, adding a little bit amount of milk and then mixing it, moving the ladle again and again. That's what we are going to do. And I always advise to use full cream milk, that is whole milk. That is one which is not toned, right? So eventually that is going to give you a better Malaidaar kheer. So there are many people who add in cream, just to give that kind of texture and that kind of a taste, but that is not required. You can simply use double fat milk. That is one which is not toned. So again we are going to leave this, and now we are going to complete this process till we add on the entire milk here. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, the milk has now started sticking to the corners of the pan. So now you need to make sure that this doesn't stick too much. If you want, you can slightly lower the flame and mix all these things, whatever is sticking in the pan, and nicely. So basically this is the one which adds more flavor. So if you would see now, this is basically converting into cream, a very thick cream, and hence the name Malaidaar kheer. So now we'll go on adding more milk, and as you go on adding more milk, you see the rice, the amount of rice which we took was so less, but the rice has definitely swollen up in the combination of milk. So I'm going to add more milk now. So the idea is to keep adding little amount of milk. That's it. Mix it again. Yeah. Alright, so as you can notice that the milk has become pretty thick and the rice has absolutely swollen. So this is the time that we are going to add the saffron, and we are also going to add the lychee powder, and we are going to mix it well. And now for another 10 minutes we are going to mix the entire kheer. This is going to become thicker, and then we are going to add sugar right in the end. It's absolutely done. That's it. Alright, so as you can see, now the kheer is 95% done. You can see how thick it has become. If you come closer, you will be able to see the texture. This is how creamy it has become. Now is the right time to add sugar. Now we are adding the sugar and stirring it. At the same time, we are going to add all the dry fruits. And after stirring it and moving it for another 2 to 3 minutes, we are going to put off the flame. So the kheer as such is done now. So there are different ways of serving this particular kheer. You could serve it hot and garnish it again with dry fruits, rose petals. You could also use rose essence. Or as we do it, we basically let it cool down and keep it inside the fridge for it to become cold, and then we serve it. So this is how now your kheer is ready. Okay, so as you can see, the kheer is ready now, and then it has become cool as well. If you want, you can see this is how it looks. So you can see it is so very creamy. It looks very yummy also. I'm sure Lakshmi Ma is going to like this. So today, as I prepared this as a bhog, as a prasad, so this is why I'm putting this in an earthen pot. This is basically known as pullard, and I'm going to decorate this with the dry fruits. That's how it is. So now this particular prasad is ready to be served to Devi Ma. So happy Diwali, everybody.